Hello George. Do you remember a few hundred years back the big debate in Congress about creating a central bank?
Why, I remember that very well. I was president at that time. This gentleman on my left had a pretty strong opinion on the subject of a central bank.
The Secretary of the Treasury, Alexander Hamilton, stated that the United States needed a strong central bank in order to build confidence from international investors.
The problem that Jefferson had with a central bank is that it gave too much power to the central government when he felt that power should reside more locally on the state level.
Another issue was that the investment capital would be benefiting the northern states due to industrialization compared to the southern agrarian economy.
Jefferson was so upset when I approved Alexander Hamilton's plan for the first central bank. He did not like the plan on many different levels.
He did not like the idea of paper money. He liked gold and silver coins because it will preserve its own level of value.
President James Madison created a second central bank in order to fund the War of 1812.
This second bank was established until 1833 when a Washington outsider named Andrew Jackson won the presidential office campaigning on a platform to end the central bank.
President Jackson issued an executive order to end the United States government from depositing any money in the bank.
This ban on central banking lasted for 80 years until 1913 with the establishment of the Federal Reserve.
The Federal Reserve's role was established to maintain employment, keep prices stable, and keep interest rates at a moderate level by regulating monetary policy.
The system is ran by an appointed board of governors handpicked by the president. This group forms the Federal Open Market Committee.
This committee is responsible for creating this country's fiscal policies and do not require approval from the President or Congress.
The Federal Reserve has a dual role to meet the interests of private banks and to represent the interests of the American citizens.
This continues to be the basic structure of our central banking system that we live under today.